Hi, welcome to Ramnathim Ganitshala. In the previous chapter, we studied simple interest. We introduced the concept of simple interest and also we solved couple of problems on simple interest, right? The way we started the chapter was by taking an example wherein I was planning to invest rupees 10,000 in a bank which gives interest at the rate of 8% per annum. I was planning to invest the money for a period of 3 years. Okay. So I calculated step by step on how much interest I would get in 3 years and eventually what would be the final amount, right? So let me jog your memory. Okay, so the interest using the formula that we learned in the previous chapter was P into R into T by 100. Okay, so principal was 10,000 rupees. Rate of interest is 8, rate of interest 8% per annum. Time period was 3 years by 100. So this turned out to be rupees 2400, right? So in 3 years I was to get 2400 rupees. So the eventual amount I would earn would be principal plus interest, right? So principal was rupees 10,000 and interest was rupees 2400, correct, no? So thereby earning rupees 12,400, correct? So this is what my calculation was. So you invest 10,000 rupees and in 3 years you would get 12,400. So at the end of first year you will get 800 rupees. At the end of second year another 800 rupees. At the end of you will get 800 rupees plus the principal that you invested, that is 10,000 rupees. So 800 plus 800 plus 800 is 2400 plus the amount that you invested, that also you should get back, right? So 12,400 is the amount. And I was thinking that okay, let me probably this seems to be a good scheme, maybe I should invest. But just when I was planning to invest, there was another guy, another banker, okay, who came and he told me that possibly I should consider investing where my interest gets compounded. Okay, so he said, have you heard about compound interest? I said, see, this is all that I know. He said, this is correct, but there is something called as a compound interest. Okay, and the interest that you may get would be more. I said, does compound interest gives me is the rate of interest higher in the case of a compound interest? He said no. If this is not higher and I am going to put 10,000 rupees and I am going to keep it for 3 years, if all these things are the same as in the case of simple interest, how am I going to get more interest, right? He said, let me explain you, right? So what happens in the case of compound interest? Okay, so we'll discuss that, but I hope this is pretty clear, right? So I am going to rub this and we'll discuss compound interest, right? How that would work. So what he told me was, in the case of a compound interest, you calculate the interest. Okay, now interest is calculated per year. Okay, so at the end of 1 year, remember in the case of simple interest, the interest at the end of 1 year was 800 rupees, which was given to me by the bank. Okay, at the end of second year, another 800 rupees was given to me by the bank. It came into my account straight away. And at the end of third year, they gave another 800 rupees along with the principal. They put it into my account. So at the end of 1 year, I got 800 rupees. At the end of second year, I got 800 rupees. At the end of third year, I got 10,000 plus 800. Now that was the details of how it would happen in the case of a simple interest. Now in the case of compound interest with this, right, he said the interest that you would get at the end of first year would be 8%, just like your simple interest case of rupees 10,000. Okay. So how much is 8% of rupees 10,000? Is 8 by 100 into 10,000. This gone, this gone, this gone, and this gone. So it is rupees 800. Okay. So at the end of 1 year, the bank would give you 800 rupees interest, and also it should pay you 10,000 rupees. Okay. But in the case of compound interest, they won't give you this 800 rupees. Instead, what they will say is, I am going to put this 800 back into the principal. Okay. So now your principal for the second year will become rupees 10,000, which is already there with the bank initially, plus the interest that you earned, 800. This becomes rupees 10,800. Okay. So now at the end of first year, okay, the amount that is there with the bank is 10,800. You started with 10,000, you earned an interest of 800. Together it is 10,800, right? If you say no, I don't want to continue for the next 2 years, please give me my money, the bank should give you 10,800. Okay, this is a very important point you should know. Okay, 10,800. All right, now you are going to continue for 2 more years, correct? No. So with this as the new principal, what would be the interest for the second year? So 8% of this new principal, no, correct? 8% of P1, which is 8% of rupees 10,800. It's nothing but 8 by 100 into 10,800, gone. So this is rupees 864. So at the end of second year, you would have earned an interest of 864 on a principal of 10,800. Your principal has increased from 10,000 to 10,800 because your interest got included into the principal. I hope you understand this, right? So now again this interest won't be given to you. They would say, I am going to put this 864 rupees into the principal that we have, and we will give you interest on that. So what is your new principal after? At the end of 2 years, what is your new principal? Your new principal is rupees 10,800 plus rupees 864. Okay. So how much that comes to? Rupees 11,664. Let's do the addition in case we are not sure, right? 64, 16, 1. Okay. So 11,664 is my principal. Okay. Is the amount that the bank should give me if I say I don't want to continue my continue this investment further. Okay. But I want to continue for 1 more year. So the third interest would be 8% of the principal which is there with the bank. The principal has increased to 11,664. Okay. So 8% of that is 8 by 100 into 11,664. So 11,664 is into 8 is so this comes out to be 93,312 by 100. I hope you know how to divide. When it is by 100, you just move the decimal places. It comes to rupees 933.12. Okay, that is the amount. Now what is the final amount? See, at the end of third year, I am going to take whatever the principal is with the bank, whatever the amount my principal has increased to 10,000 became 11,664. Okay, plus the interest, correct? No. So amount becomes rupees 11,664 plus the interest in the last year, that is 933.12. All right, how much that amounts to? Let us see. 933.12. So 0.12, 7, 9, 15, 2, 1. Okay. So now this is 12,597.12. Right. 12,597.12. Now this is the final amount I should be getting from the bank, right? Now one thing you would have noticed, in the case of simple interest, the principal for each subsequent year remains the same. So principal is 10,000 in the first year, 10,000 in the second year, 10,000 in the third year. Every year it is the same, and 8% of 10,000 amounted to 800 rupees. But in the case of compound interest, the principal keeps on increasing because I add the interest to the principal, correct? No? So 8% interest which I earned in the very first year got added into the principal, thereby increasing it to 10,800 at the beginning of the second year, correct? No? So that way principal in each subsequent year goes on increasing in the case of compound interest. Second point is the interest also increases because your interest is based on the principal, 8% of P1, 8% of P2, right? And P1 and P2 are in increasing order. Essentially the interest also increases. That did not happen in the case of simple interest, right? It was always 800 rupees in the first year, 800 rupees in the second year, so on and so forth. I hope you understand this. These are very important points. Now if you see, right, on a if you are observing on a side note, right, this was the amount eventually that I should get from the bank is 12,597.12. okay, and in the case of simple interest I earned rupees 12,400, correct? 2,400 interest and 10,000 was my initial investment. If you look at it, there is not much difference. 197.12 is the difference. Only approximately 200 rupees, slightly less than 200 rupees. Okay. So then I asked him, it is only 200 rupees that there is a difference. It is not going to give me too much of gain, right? It's only 197 rupees and 12 paise. I don't care for such a small amount. But he said, you know what, your business is thriving. Everybody is talking about your business in the neighborhood, right? This may look small, okay, but if you change this from 10,000 rupees to maybe make it 20 lakh rupees, okay, or maybe 50 lakh rupees, and you increase this from 3 years to maybe 10 years or so, this difference, there would be a huge difference between the simple interest that you would get as against the compound interest. The difference goes on, there's a huge difference, okay, that's what I mean to say. So he's, of course, he wants me to invest for a longer period of time into his bank, and I hope that is good, but what he said is also true. The simple interest, the difference between the simple and the compound interest here, though may look a paltry 197 rupees, but if you increase the principal, if you increase the number of years, these are the only two things that is there in your hand. You cannot, the rate of interest is decided by the bank. If you invest 20 lakh rupees for 15 years and then if you calculate the simple interest as against the compound interest, you will see that the compound interest differs substantially to the simple interest, and that is what they say, that is the magic of compounding. All right, good. So with this, I hope I am able to drive home the point. Now the second thing, this was just a numerical, right? There is a formula to calculate the compound interest. Okay, so let us see what that formula is, and let's see if we can derive that, right? Now you may say, sir, there is no derivation that is asked in the exam, right? But derivation is not for you to write in the exam, it is for you to understand. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, all right, so let me rub this off. All right, so we already know principal, we take it as P. Okay, and let's say A is the amount. Okay, rate of interest is R percent, and time period, okay, let's take this as is equal to n years. Okay, let's take it as n years. All right, in this we assume that the compound interest is calculated annually. The interest is calculated annually and compounded also, okay, annually. So you calculate the interest after 1 year, and at the end of 1 year you add it into the principal, okay, making a higher principal. All right, so if this is the case, the amount, if you invest rupees P for n years into a bank which gives R percent per annum interest rate, the amount that you would get is P 1 plus R by 100 raised to n. Okay, so this is the formula, right? So if I invest P rupees into a bank which pays me interest at R percent per annum for n years, and if it is a case of compound interest wherein your interest after every year is added into your principal, making it higher, the amount that they would pay you after n years, okay, is this. Let's see if we can derive this, right? Let me just write it here and see if we are able to come to that, or at least let's get a understanding that this is correct. Okay, all right, so if this is the case, all right, let's see. Now let's compute this as a case of simple interest year after year. Okay, so this was the agreed upon term. Okay, so at the end of first year, after first year, so after first year, how much interest can I get? Interest is equal to, okay, PRT, P into R into T. So this is the interest at the end of first year of your investment. So T is 1 year only, correct? No, by 100. I am going to just calculate the simple interest. Okay, every year add it into the principal, then compute the interest subsequently. Okay, so after 1 year, the interest on P rupees, R rate of interest, and T is 1 year. Okay, in this case I should get P into R by 100. Okay, so this is P R by 100. Okay, I hope you understood. Where is T? T is only 1 year because the interest is calculated only for 1 year. Okay, so P R by 100. What is the amount? So what is the amount? So this amount at the end of 1 year would be your original principal plus the interest. Correct? No? Correct? So principal, whatever was there, I should get that plus the interest earned in that year. So this is nothing but P 1 plus R by 100. This is same as this. If n is equal to 1, you get this. Correct? No? Right? I hope there is no problem in understanding, right? So at the end of, okay, after 1 year, this is the story. Okay, now this new amount becomes your new, this amount becomes your new principal for the second year. Now for second year, so now second year has begun, the new principal, okay, let me say P1 is nothing but P1 plus R by 100. Understood? because this amount, your interest got added into your principal, that becomes your new principal for the second year. Everything else remains the same. Rate of interest is R%. Okay, and we are going to find out what would be the interest. Okay, what would be the interest at the end of second year. So interest, let's say I1 is equal to P, what is the principal? P1. Okay, P1 into R into T. T is nothing but 1 year. We are going to find out the interest for only 1 year. So this is done by 100. Correct? No? Can I not write it as P1 into R by 100? I can always write this. So P1, what is P1? P1 is this big one. Okay. So P 1 plus R by 100 into R by 100. Is this correct? This is correct. Now this is the interest. Good. I want to know what is the amount at the end of second year. So second year, and the amount that the bank should pay me is the principal, what is there with the bank, plus the interest I earned on that principal, plus P 1 plus R by 100 into R by 100. I hope you know how to solve this. Can I take, see, if you see P, this entire thing is common to both of them. Okay, so I am going to take them out. P 1 plus R by 100, right? Now this is nothing but 1, right? This into this will give me this, plus ka plus I put, and here what is left is R by 100. Correct, no? So this multiplied by this will give me this entire thing. Okay, I hope you can see this. Now this is nothing but P 1 plus R by 100, the whole square, right? So for 2 years, this is what I get. The final amount is P, open the bracket, 1 plus R by 100, the whole raised to 2, which is the same as this. You understood that, right? If you substitute 2 here, for 2 years, this is how you will get. Now, if you do it for 3 years, it will become P 1 plus R by 100, I mean in the bracket raised to 3, right? So I hope in a way I have proved it. I hope you understood this. Okay. So this is good. Let's move on. Pretty simple, right? Students, when they see numbers, they are pretty comfortable. But when they see these terms N, P, R, and then they have to calculate subsequently, they are scared. Don't be scared, be confident. We have already done this, right? If I can do it, you can do it too. Okay? All right. Sounds good. So now there are some variations in problems that are typically asked, right? Some type of problems that are asked. Let us see what those problems are. One typical problem that I have seen appear in the textbooks is they have different rate of interest for subsequent years. Okay, so for example, let us say, let me change my marker. All right, so they say the principal, let's say the principal is rupees, let's say P. Okay, let's say the principal is P, rupees P. Okay, rate of interest in first year. Okay, first year, let's say you are making an investment for 3 years. Okay, the rate of interest in the first year is R 1% per annum. In the second year is R 2% per annum, and in the third year R 3% per annum. Okay, and T is 3 years anyway. It's understood because I am telling you that it is for 3 years and we have 3 different rate of interest for 3 different years. So what would be the final amount, okay, that the bank should pay you if you are investing rupees P, right? Prior to this, we said that the amount is P multiplied by 1 plus R by 100 raised to the whole raised to N. N is the number of years, right? So how would this, how in this case, in the previous case, right, the rate of interest was the same and this is what we got, right? In this case, what would it be, right? So it appears, or you can actually go ahead and derive just like we did for the earlier case, right? I showed you how to derive this, right? If you can go and convince yourself, that would be great, right? In this case, the amount would be P 1 plus R1 by 100 multiplied by 1 plus R2 by 100 multiplied by 1 plus R3 by 100. Now it is not very hard for you to go ahead and prove this yourself, just like what we did in the earlier example. So this is the amount payable if you get a problem like this, okay. So P into this, into this, into this, okay, good. So that was the second type typically is asked in the exam. All right, there was one more type, right? Let me introduce that also, right? See, what happens is we are assuming that the compound interest, the interest is computed at the end of 1 year, okay. What if the interest is computed at the end of 6 months, okay, and added to the principal? So if I have kept my investment for 3 years, there would be 6 such periods wherein my interest would be computed, right? After 6 months, after 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 year, 2.5 year, and 3 year, correct? So after 6 months, the interest would be computed and added into the principal, right? After 1 year also the same thing. So 6 times that would happen, correct? If the interest, if the bank tells you that we are going to compound it 4 times in a year after every quarter, understood? So after 3 months, then in that case, in 1 year, 4 times they have to compute the interest added to the principal. So 4 times in 1 year, which means 12 times in 3 years. I hope you understood that, right? So in that case, how would our formula look like while computing the compound interest? Okay, all right, let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's see what that would be. The principal in this case, you may think why I am writing again and again. That is for your understanding. You should convince yourself, right? What I am telling you, whether you are able to agree to that. All right. So let's say my principal is rupees P, rate of interest. Now this is R percent per annum. Per annum means R percent in 1 year. Okay. Now time period is equal to N years. Okay. So what we said initially was amount is the amount that you would earn by compound interest. I mean your principal plus the compound interest would amount to P 1 plus R by 100 to N. Okay. Now as we said, okay, this is correct if it is annually. So if this is correct, if it is compounded, this is compounded annually. Okay. This formula is correct if your interest is calculated once in a year and compounded. So once in a year they will calculate the interest at the end of the year and add it. What if it is compounded once in 6 months, right? In that case, if it is compounded once in 6 months, the number of times they would compute, okay, let me write it down. If compounded half yearly. If it is compounded half yearly, your amount would be, let me just write down the same thing. Let me see if it is intuitive enough. Okay, by 100. If it is compounded half yearly, the number of time I compute in 1 year would be 2. In 2 years, I have to compute 4 times. In 3 years, I have to compute 6 times, and in n years I will compute 2 into n times, right? So this n becomes 2n, correct? No, I compute 2n times, right? In 1 year 2 times means in n years 2n times. At the same time, the rate of interest is r% per annum, means r% in 1 year. But 2 times you are computing, so it would be divided to r by 2. Each time it will be r by 2, correct? No, r% 1 year. So if it is 6 months, so it will be r by 2. So this becomes r by 2. I can write it as it is, right? I can write it like this: r by 2 into 1 by 100, correct? No, 100 ka 100 I just copy it. Instead of r, it has become r by 2. Now this will be 1 plus r by 200, 2 raised this whole stuff raised to 2n. So that would be the amount if your if compound interest is calculated half yearly, once in 6 months. Okay. Now if I tell you if the compound interest is calculated once in 3 months, how are you going to, what would this formula look like? Okay. So if compounded once in, or rather let me write, if compounded quarterly, okay, quarterly. So quarterly means what? Once in 3 months. So in 1 year you will compute it 4 times, no? 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So once in 3 months means in 1 year you will do it 4 times. So your amount should be P, I'll just copying it as it is, okay, r by 100 n. So if I am going to compute 4 times in 1 year, in n years it will be 4 into n times, correct? So this is 4n, and your rate of interest in 1 year is r%, so in quarter it will be r by 4 straight away. So this will become r by 4, nothing but r by 400, correct? No, this is the way you should think and solve the problems. Okay, all right, so this is good, students. With this I would like to conclude this session today. Next lecture is going to be fun because there are going to be problems from different textbooks, right? We are going to take few problems. I think around 9 problems is what I am aiming at, and we are going to solve them, right? And let's see how they come out to be, right? Okay, one more thing, right, before I close down today's session, right? So if you have seen, in each of them we find out the amount, right? There are some problems which ask you, tell me what is the compound interest, what is the interest earned. This is the final amount that was earned. Okay, let's say if the interest is compounded annually, and this is the amount I earned after n years, so the compound interest would be amount which I got minus principal, correct? No, same thing like simple interest. Simple interest is nothing but the amount that you earn minus the principal, that is the interest that you earn, correct? Similarly, compound interest is also a minus p, so you got the amount which you would receive. If you subtract the principal from that, that is the compound interest that you have earned, right? So I am not going to hold back any further. Take care, students. Keep working hard and solve problems, and let's see next time wherein we have exciting problems on compound interest. All right, so take care, and till we meet next time, God bless. Bye bye.